जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारि जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। जय राधा गोविंद जय गौरनीता जय गौरनीता जय जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। Hi Krishna everyone. We'll start with Canto 3, chapter number 30, verse number 22. So we have only 3 more slokas in this chapter, 32, 33 and 34. And then we are done with this chapter. So we'll finish this chapter today. You can repeat the sloka after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Devena saditam tasya
Devena
Saditam tasya
Chamalam niraye puman
Samalam niraye
Niraye Puman
Punkte kudampa poshasya
Bhunte Kutumba Poshasya Kutumba Poshasya
Tada vitta ivaturaha
Vidavita Vaduraha Duraha
Devena saditam tasya
Devena
Devena Saditam tasya
Chamalam niraye puman
Samalam niraye
Niraye Puman
Punkte kudampa poshasya
Bhunte Kutumba Poshasya
Tada vitta ivaturaha
Vidavita Vaduraha
Devena saditam tasya
Devena Saditam tasya
Chamalam niraye puman
Samalam niraye
Niraye Puman
Punkte kudampa poshasya
Bhunte Kutumba
Kutumba Poshasya
Vitta ivaturaha
Vidavita Vaduraha
We can start chanting Hare Krishna one by one.
Hare Krishna. Daivena saditam tasya shamalam niraye puman bhungte kutumba poshasya rutavitta ivaturaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Daivena saditam tasya samalam niraye puman bhungte kutumba poshasya hrutavitta ivaturaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Daivam asaditam tasya samalam niraye puman bhunte kutumba posyasya krutavitta ivaturaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji Devana Saditam tasya
Hare Krishna. We have introduction.
Hare Krishna Mataji may I chant
Yes, yes.
Devana Saditam tasya samalam niraye puman bhunte kutumba poshasya Ritavita Evaturaha.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Devena siddhitam tasya shamalam nire puman bhungti kutumba poshasya hitvita iva aturaha. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Devana saditam tasya samalam nire puman bhungate kutumba posasya hitvittaiva turam. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. See the synonyms. Devena, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ashita obtains tasya his, Shamalam, sinful reaction, Niraye, in a hellish condition, Puman, the man, Bhungte, undergoes, Kudumba Poshasya, of maintaining a family, Ridavittaha, one whose wealth is lost, Eva, like, Aturaha, suffering. Translation. Thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maintainer of kingsmen is put into a hellish condition to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who has lost his wealth. Raji, you there? Yeah. Hare Krishna, Manijan.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Danva Pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The example set in herein is that the sinful person suffers just like a man who has lost his wealth. The human form of body is achieved by the conditioned soul after many, many births and is very valuable asset. Instead of utilizing this life to get liberation, if one uses it simply for the purpose of maintaining his so-called family and therefore perform foolish and unauthorized action, he is compared to a man who has lost his wealth and who, upon losing it, laments. When wealth is lost, there is no use lamenting, but as long as there is wealth, one has to utilize it properly and thereby gain eternal profit. It may be argued that when a man leaves his money earned by sinful activities, he also leaves his sinful activities here with his money. But it is especially mentioned herein that by a superior arrangement, Devena Asaditam, Although the man leaves behind him his sinful earned money, he carries the effect of it. When a man steals some money, if he is caught and agrees to return it, he is not freed from the criminal punishment. By the law of the state, even though he returns the money, he has to undergo the punishment. Similarly, the money earned by a criminal process may be left by the man when dying, but by superior arrangements, he carries with him the effect, and therefore he has to suffer hellish life. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we'll do just 2 more slokas of this chapter. 330-33. केवलेन हि अधर्मेण कुटुम्बभरणोत्सुकः याति जीवो अन्धतमिश्रं चरमं तमसः पदम्. Synonyms. Kevalena, simply, he certainly, adharmena, by irreligious activities, kudumba, family, bharana, to maintain, utsukaha, eager, yadi, goes, jivaha, a person, andatamishram, to andatamishra, charamam, ultimate, tamasaha, of darkness, padam, region. Translation. Therefore, a person who's very eager to maintain his family and kinsmen, simply by black methods, certainly goes to the darkest region of hell, which is known as andatamishra. Hare Krishna Supreme Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. 3 words in this verse are very significant. Kevalena means only by black methods, adharmena means unrighteous or irreligious, and kutumba bharana means family maintenance. Maintaining one's family is certainly a duty of a householder, but one should be eager to earn his livelihood by the prescribed method as stated in the scriptures. In Bhagavad Gita, it is described that the Lord has divided the social system into 4 classifications of castes or varnas according to quality and work. Apart from Bhagavad Gita, in every society, a man is known according to his quality and work. For example, when a man is constructing wooden furniture, he is called a carpenter, and a man who works with an anvil and iron is called a blacksmith. Similarly, a man who is engaged in the medical or engineering fields have a particular duty and designation. All these human activities have been divided by the Supreme Lord into 4 varnas, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. In Bhagavad Gita and in other Vedic literatures, the specific duties of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are mentioned. One should work honestly according to his qualification. He should not earn his livelihood unfairly by means for which he is not qualified. If a Brahmana who works as a priest so that he may enlighten his followers with the spiritual way of life is not qualified as a priest, then he is cheating the public. One should not earn by such unfair means. The same is applicable to a Kshatriya or to a Vaishya. It is specifically mentioned that the means of livelihood of those who are trying to advance in Krishna consciousness must be very fair and uncomplicated. Here it is mentioned that he who earns his livelihood by unfair means, Kevalena, is sent to the darkest hellish region. Otherwise, if one maintains his family by prescribed methods and honest means, there is no objection to one being a family man. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Just 1 more sloka, the last sloka of this chapter. Adasthanara lokasya yavitiryatanadhayaha kramasa samanukramya punar ata prachechuti. Adasthat, from below, Naralokasya, human birth, Yavati, as many, Yatana, punishments, Adyaha, and so on, Kramasaha, in a regular order, Samanukramya, having gone through, Punaha, again, Atra, here on this earth, Avrachet, he may return, Suchihi, your translation. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions, and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life, prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human being on this earth. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Purport: just as a prisoner who has undergone troublesome prison life is set free again, the person who has always engaged in impious and mischievous activities is put into hellish conditions, and when he has undergone different hellish lives, namely those of lower animals like cats, dogs, and hawks, by the gradual process of evolution, he again comes back as a human being. In Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that even though a person engaged in the practice of yoga system may not finish perfectly and may fall down for some reason or the other, his next life as a human being is guaranteed. It is stated that such a person who has fallen from the path of yoga practice is given a chance in his next life to take birth in a very rich family or in a very pious family. It is interpreted that rich family refers to a big mercantile family. Because generally people who engage in trades and mercantile business are very rich. One who engaged in the process of self-realization or connecting with the supreme absolute truth, but fell short, is allowed to take birth in such a rich family or in the family of pious brahmanas. Either way, he is guaranteed to appear in human society in his next life. It can be concluded that if someone is not willing to enter into hellish life as an Tamishra or Andatamishra, then he must take to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is the first-class yoga system, because even if one is unable to attain complete Krishna consciousness in this life, he is guaranteed at least to take birth in next life in a human family. He cannot be sent into a hellish condition. Krishna consciousness is the purest life, and it protects all human beings from gliding down to hell to take birth in a family of hawks and dogs. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the third canto, 30th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description by Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayamudire Nashtapraya Shabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtige Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangullange Dekire Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dina Dharinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulmedam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bodhale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Tadandi Swapatandivam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bodhale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Dinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 30th chapter, verse number 32. Devena satitam tasya shamalam niraye puman bhungte kudamba poshasya rita vitta ivaturaha. Translation: thus, by the arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the intent of kinsman is put into a hellish to suffer for his sinful activities, like a man who have lost his wealth. Hare Krishna. So, previous few slokas were very scary, with showing all the different punishments we get in the hell. Like, so, what happens to a person who eats flesh? What is the punishment given? Just a quick recap.
He will get the birth of a tiger, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
In the hell, he might take the birth as of a tiger's body, but in hell, what happens to him?
He is put inside. He is also boiled in the oil, and he is made to eat his own meat.
He made his own flesh. So I think 90% of us were eating non-veg before coming to Krishna consciousness. Now what for us? What is the punishment everything? But yes, after coming to Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada himself mentions everything else is nullified. Okay, what happens somebody who does break the regulative principles of no illicit sex? What happens? What is the punishment for them?
He goes to Andha Tamishra and Tamishra.
And then, yes, Andhata Mishra and Tamishra. And what is the punishment given? He has to embrace.
He's born as a pig, Mataji. Hog.
Yeah, that's because he doesn't discriminate, all that fine. That is when he gets reborn. But then what is the punishment given in the hellish planet? He's made to embrace
Molten.
the opposite sex made up of fire. No, so much it was like burning. So many so put into burning or boiling oil, and so many things are there in the hellish planet. So here, what happens here is, after many the human form of life is achieved to the condition soul of many births, and it's a valuable asset, right? Why do you think the human life is valuable? And why is it valuable? Why is the human form considered valuable asset?
Because we are given a
can do
chance for
Harinam.
realization, Mata. To be in
Only
Krishna
human
consciousness.
can do the devotional service. Only
And
human.
and
And
the
we can
final
go back
goal.
to Godhead. We can go back.
Go back to Godhead or get liberated or come out of this cycle of birth and death. I might have some unstable internet. Okay, so a human form of life is achieved by the conditioned souls after many births. No, many births. Bahunam janmanam ante. So much janmas we have taken. And Bhagavan Jeev, that is, right? And God get a valuable asset, the human form, because it can be used for self-realization or liberation than to is simply to purpose of maintaining the so-called family. It's all foolish, right? So even Rishabhadev also says the same thing. Nayam deha bhajam raloke kasman kaman arhate vidbhujam ye tapo divyam putra kayena sattvam eapi sitandra urudham nibandha. So what is Rishabhadev saying in the 5th canto, 5th chapter, verse 1? He says, Nayam deha majam raloke kasnan kaman arhate vidbhajam tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam shuddhayatesmat brahma saukyam tu anandam. Tapo divyam, this human form of life is got not to work like cats and dogs or dogs and hogs. No, it has to be used for divyam. Tapo divyam, that is some austerities, tapasya, tapo. Tapasya has to be done so that we can get liberated. So Rishabhadev is instructing his sons that all living beings who have accepted the material body, one who have been embodied human form should not waste his hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hawks who eats too. So one should engage in the penance and austerities to attain the divine position of devotional service. Why? By such activity, one's heart is purified. And when attained this position, he attains eternal blissful life. Brahma Saukyam tu Anandam, which is transcendental material happiness and which continues forever. So this human form of life is very rare and should not be used for sense gratification, right? Because it's very rare. Durlabha Manusha Janma. Right? That's what Prahlad Maharaj also says. Durlabha Manusha Janman tadapi adruvam arthadam. Kaumare acharet prajno dharman bhagavatani ha durlabha manusha. It's very rare to get this human form of life, and this human form of life should not be used just for work for sense gratification. Prabhupada mentions, yes, you can earn for what is needed for you. That's it. Just for the maintenance, just to keep the body and soul together. Not like 24 hours a day, like dogs and hogs. And you don't have time to do devotional services. Okay, so what does Prahlad Maharaj says? What does we do in the first 20 years of your life? I think I've mentioned it so many times.
Yes, ma'am. Studies, brahmacharya.
Studying, studying, playing and all that. Last 20 years, what do we do? How is last 20 years of our life? What is the whole lifespan mentioned in Kali Yuga?
100 years.
70 to 100 years.
Yeah, you take it 100. Okay, so when you take 100 years of human form of life, first 20 years is playing and all childhood activities. What about the last 20 years?
Remembering God. Meditation.
Devotional service.
Yeah, memory.
service.
No, what does Brahmana say? How does we waste the last 20 years?
The diseases.
Suffering and old age and suffering. So first 20 years is gone, last 20 years is gone. So now we have 60. Now what does we do? Half of it, half of the Janma, the life, what are we doing?
We sleep wasting our time.
Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So sleeping. So that means out of 60, 30 is gone. And our last only 30, what are we doing in that 30?
We are doing mostly sense gratifications.
So we run behind sense gratification, right? This is a very great term, sense gratification. So yes, we are doing that. So what are we, when are we going to do our devotional service then, right? So, but then it is said that before wasting it, we should start our devotional service. So that's what here it is said. Instead of utilizing this life for liberation, we are just utilizing it to maintain the family and all that. And then we lament. When everything is lost, we lament, right? And so here it is said that once the money is gone, there. So somebody who, can you give an example from the Shastra? Somebody who did earn money through sinful activities. Who was that? His profession was so that he was earning for the family, but it was sin.
Valmiki.
Yes, Ratnagar, right? And when Ratnagar went and asked the family, will you share my sin? What did they say?
They said
It's your duty to feed us. It's your
It's your duty.
Yeah. So they are not going to share the sin, right? So when Ratnakar was met by Narad Muni, and Narad Muni said, okay, you're killing an animal for your livelihood, and then the meat is given to the family, but will they take the sin? He went and asked his wives, children, father, nobody's ready to take the sin. So, but then they will also get the sin. Prabhupada says there are some 7 or 8 people who get the sin. For example, here in this world, if somebody conducts a murder, there is something called conspiracy, like somebody who gave the knife to that person to kill, somebody who discussed with him about how to kill, or somebody who helped in killing, somebody who, all these people are all punished. So similarly, somebody who orders the animal to be killed, somebody who kills the animal, somebody who cooks the animal, somebody who the meat, somebody who eats it, all of them get the sin. Prabhupada says all of them go to the hellish planet. So here the punishment is there. So by the law, even here, if somebody steals the money, they get the punishment. So when you can earn money according to the Chaturvanya, which Bhagavad Gita says. Here Prabhupada says that it is the duty of the householder to earn money, but you earn it according to the scriptures. Chaturvanya maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. Right? That's what Krishna says. Tasya kartaram apimam viti agatram avyayam chaturvanya maya srishtam guna karma vibhakasha. So Krishna have made the varnas and ashramas, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras based on guna and karma. So based on that, there is already classification is there. So why do we earn money through hook and crook? Beg, borrow, and steal. That's what Charvak Muni says. Beg, borrow, and steal, because they are not bothered about their hellish condition. They are not bothered about their future. So once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said this story, that once what happened, there was a drunkard, and a Muni used to go and advise all the drunkards. They were like a group of friends. They are not drunkards like that. They sit together and they also associate and they drink. It's not fun drinking alone. Similarly, not fun doing bhakti alone. We need a group of devotees to do bhakti. So one of them were advised by the Muni and said, those who drink wine and alcohol, they goes to hell in the next life because they are breaking the 4 regulative principles. So that man was like, really, I go to hell because I'm drinking? What about my friend Suresh? The Muni said, what about him? Does he drink? Yes, he drinks. We are all a group of devotee people who drinks. Yeah, Suresh also will go to hell. What about Manish? Yeah, he also will go to hell. What about Ramesh? Yeah, all of her. Then he's like, there is a prostitute near our village. What about her? Will she go to the hell? He's like, yes. And whoever goes to the prostitute, will he goes to hell? Yes. The Muni said yes. So all of us will go to hell. The prostitute also will goes to hell. So hell is good, no? All my friends are there in hell. We can still drink in hell. Still there is a prostitute in the hell. So we all will reach hell. Then he's like, what is the other method to reach hell? So he said, for not following all the 4 regulative principles, meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling. And he's like, oh, there is another person who I want my family also to come to hell. So I'll tell them to do all these, break the regulative principles so that they can also come to hell. Now what will happen in hell? I have my friends who drinks. I have my family as a prostitute. Everybody is in hell only, so we can enjoy. But will they enjoy in the hell? Whatever he's thinking, will he be able to enjoy in the hell?
No.
No, that's not the rule. No, that's not the rule. So they can't. But then the karmi is what like they do all the sinful activities. And if we say, according to the Shastras, you're going to hell, and they're like, don't worry, we all are going to be there. So it's going to be happy there in hell. So no, in hell, the punishment is given, as we saw in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Kapila Dev is explaining this. So it's not just fake. It's the Supreme Lord himself saying, so that he is giving us an indication that don't do such sinful activities. Like, so whatever we have done in a previous life, previous time before coming to Krishna consciousness, that's okay. We were in ignorance. We were in Tamoguna. So nobody were there to guide us. But now because of the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have come to Krishna consciousness. And now we know through scriptures that this is sinful. So we start chanting, take up devotional service, so that all the whatever sin we have done gets crushed. So here Srila Prabhupada says that in the next sloka, he says that what should we do is we support Krishna consciousness activity. right? So according to our karma, we are given dogs and life, and again to human form of life, but it's not wasted, right? Anybody who falls is also not wasted. He might take birth in a rich family. Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe, right? Prapa Punya Kritam Lokan Utsitva Shashvata Samaha Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe Yoga Prashta Vijayate. 6th chapter 41st sloka says Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe. It's never lost what we are doing, right? You get after many words of enjoyment, an unsuccessful yogi. You know, he goes to the pious living entities at heavenly planets, and then he's born in the family of righteous people, born in the family of rich aristocrats. So it's not lost because it says, Neha Vikramanasasti Pratyavayana Vidyate Salpamampyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahado Bhayat. So whatever devotional service we do, it will save us from great bhaya, fear. What is that greatest fear we have? What is that bhaya?
Fear of death.
Fear of death everyone has.
Fear of falling down into the
Fear
lower.
of birth in lower animals.
That is meant by bhayat. So, but when you do devotional service, when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, what happens? You won't go to a human, animal form of life. You're assured, Prabhupada says that you're given protection from most dangerous type of fear, which is the dangerous type of fear is to be born in a animal family. Okay. So about Jamala has been mentioned by Prabhupada, but then that is the power of activities. Okay, so in the next life also we can complete from where we stopped. We can continue from where we stopped. So Prabhupada says that we have to take up to Krishna conscious activities. That's the only way to get out of this cycle of sinful reactions. Okay, why does we do sin? Why are we doing sin? What is the reason for the sin?
Lust. Greed.
Lust. Before that,
Ignorance.
Ignorance or avidya. Right? Avidya or ignorance and nascence. And because of avidya, what happens to us? What is that cycle Rupa Goswami explains? Because of avidya or ignorance, what happens? What is the next stage?
Lust. We got lust and we get attachments.
No.
You are immersed into birth and death cycle.
Yes, but then because of avidya or ignorance, what happens?
Bija,
What is bija known as? Bija or is also known as? What is bija?
Desire to do something.
Desire. Very good. Desire, sinful desire. So because of avidya or ignorance, we have a desire to do the sin, or that is called bija. And once we have a desire, then what is the next step?
We get attachment, then lust.
No, Mataji. No. That's the
anger,
attachment.
attachment.
Is the step.
Action.
Yeah, that's papa, right? The action, that is papa. So because of avidya or ignorance, we have a desire to do the sin. That's called bijam. Bijam is the sinful desire. So I have a desire to do the sin and I do the papa or sin. And when I do the papa, there are two steps happening. Okay, that's prarabdha and aprarabdha. Does anyone know what is prarabdha karma and aprarabdha karma?
The karma that is allocated for life to
Fructified and non-fructified.
Yes, fructified and non-fructified. Very good. So prarabdha is manifested reaction and aprarabdha is unmanifested reaction. Because of aprarabdha, you feel like doing the sin again and again. That is sinful disposition. What is that stage called as?
Kutam.
Kutam, very good. So there are good Bhakti Shastri students also here. Okay, so that's the step. Okay, those who don't know, this is explained by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Nectar of Devotion. He says, because of avidya or ignorance, we have the sinful desire. No, okay, I gave an example. So I have no clue that robbering is a sin. So because of that avidya, I had the sinful desire to become rich in a shortcut. So I have a desire to rob a bank. So because of that bija or the sinful desire, I do the sin. I rob the bank. That is called papa. And once I rob the bank, I may not be arrested because I've worn a mask and then I've covered all the CCTV cameras. So the police didn't catch me. That's called the unmanifested stage or aprarabdha stage. Aprarabdha, it is not manifested. There's no reaction. So because no reaction came, I feel like doing the sin again and again. That's called sinful disposition or kutam. So but the arrest is awaiting me. And later on, again, I do the sin. Again, I might get arrested. That's called prarabdha stage or prarabdha or manifested reaction. And then there is klesha or suffering. So where do we cut this cycle? Where do we cut the cycle of sinful reaction? Like which stage will we cut it? Yes?
Desire. At the stage of desire.
Already a sinful desire came into your mind. It's very difficult to control that desire. So why do we allow the bija to sprout? Why do we have the desire? First of all, cut it at ignorance level. No, how do you cut it at the ignorance level? What is the method to cut the cycle at ignorance or avidya?
Knowledge.
Knowledge, Mataji.
Which knowledge?
Spiritual knowledge.
Spiritual knowledge or shastric knowledge? Yes, with the acts of knowledge of spiritual knowledge, you cut the acts of avidya. Ajnana timirandasya. That's what a guru is doing. So because of avidya or ignorance, we have the sinful desire that's called bija. And because of that, we do the papa. And because of doing the papa, there can be prarabdha stage, that is manifested reaction. Or unmanifested, that is aprarabdha stage, where I'm not arrested. Then kuta, there is sinful disposition. I feel like doing the sin again and again. So when you do devotional service, what happens? It gets cut from avidya itself. Everything gets crushed. That's what Krishna says to Uddhava. Yadagnishu shudaramshi karodi edamshi basmasar tatamat vishaya bhaktir utpaideva Krishnasa. Oh Uddhava, how a wood burns to ash by burning. Similarly, all the sin which we have done gets burned to ashes just by doing devotional service. Yada agni, agni means fire. Okay, how it burns the wood. Karodi etamshi basmasad, it makes it basma or ash. Similarly, tadamat vishaya bhaktir, if you do bhakti of Krishna, then what happens? My dear Uddhava, just as a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, similarly, devotion to me completely burns to ashes the sins committed by my devotees. Take this as Krishna's words. Okay, this is Krishna's words. So whatever sin we have done, some of us were eating non-veg, some of us were doing some other sinful activities before coming to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's disciples or hippies were doing breaking all the 4 regulative principles before coming to Krishna consciousness. But once they take to Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, what happens? As a blazing fire turns the firewood to ash, similarly, the devotion to Krishna completely burns to ash the sins committed by the devotees. It is said the sins which we might create in the next Janma also, everything gets crushed because of that. Because the Lord refers to the devotion as the blazing fire. Right, blazing fire. But we should not commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. That is the 7th offense to the holy name. We should not do that. Okay, that's like Kunjaka Shaucha. But here it said Lord Krishna is glorious, and one who takes the exclusive shelter of the Lord, what happens? All the sin, completely it burns. Aham tvam sarva pabhebhyo moksheshyami mashuja, Krishna says, right? So why are we doing devotional service? First and foremost is to get Krishna prema, to get Krishna bhakti or pure devotional service, right? To please Krishna. That is the real goal. But the initial stage as neophyte devotees, what are we supposed to do? Burn out all our sinful reactions. Do anartha nivritti stage, take away all our, because Krishna is pure. In order to go back to Krishna, we should become purified, right? So all our sins should get crushed. That's why we should chant the holy name of the Lord. So Krishna says here, the first class yogi is to do Krishna consciousness, right? Yoginam abhi sarvesha madgadenandaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam sameyukta tamo madaha. Yoginam abhi sarvesha, out of all the yogis, who is the highest yogi? Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. Krishna says mam. Mam means unto me, only to Krishna, okay, not to anybody else, to the Supreme Lord. Then that's the most best type of yogi, or the highest of all the yogi. Bhajata means to do devotional service to Krishna. So that's what we should do. So here Kapila Dev ends by saying that we are guaranteed at least human form next, and we cannot be sent to the hellish condition. So once there was a disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So he got initiated by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that's Srila Prabhupada's guru. So he got initiated. But then once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati left his body, what happens? Once, that's called Guru Tyagi. Such people, they just, by a fashion, and they might be sincere in the beginning, but once the Guru leaves, they leave everything. somehow Maya attacks them, and somehow they don't take shelter of the holy name. They don't associate with his god brothers, and he fell down. So what happened? Fall down means he stopped chanting, he stopped going to temple, and he started living like a sinful person. In the sense, he broke all the 4 regulative principles, and he was doing a very hellish life. But initially, he was initiated by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. But then somehow he got lost, like a Jamila, somehow. But then what happened? His body was taken to the crematorium. He was, and his soul went to the hellish planets. So when he was going to the hell, the Yamadutas came and took him to the Yamaraj's court. And you have Chitragupta there. Chitragupta has everything written, all the sinful things, everything he has. Like, don't think nobody saw us doing sinful activities. Chitragupta knows everything. It's all recorded. So he was, this devotees list was taken, and nothing was written there. So Chitragupta is like, what is this? What happened? He's supposed to be punished. He's so sinful. But then what happened when he was about to get punished? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati personally went there. That's because he could see, because he came back to life. That's why he could see this. This is a real life incident where that devotee said that I saw my guru, because when the Yamadutas caught him and was taking to Yamaraj, he was thirsty, and he said, I wanted water. So they took him to a pool which is full of blood and mucus and pus and all stools and everything. It was very dirty. And they asked him, drink the water. Then he's like, I want clear water. Then he's like, in hell, there is no clear water. Only this water is available. And he didn't drink. And when he saw the punishment, somebody were putting someone into boiling oil and so many things happening, he got scared. Just by reading, we got scared. He was scared seeing all that. And he called Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. That's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is called as Prabhupada. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came there and spoke to the Yamadutas, saying that he's my disciple. I am his guru. He's initiated by me. So it's my responsibility to take that soul back to Godhead. He might fall down because of some Maya. Somehow he got tricked. But then it's my responsibility to save him. So please send him back. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is a Manjari. And he said, we come in that parampara. Just imagine. And then he sent that soul back to the body. So in the graveyard, in the crematorium, they kept the body onto the firewood and about to be burned. Immediately he got up because he got excused by his guru and he came back. And everybody's like, this is ghost, because who can come back in the crematorium? And they start running. But then he ran to Calcutta. He went to his god brother, Bhakti Dhyana Madhusudan Goswami, someone like that. So he went there and he fell at his lotus feet and said, please reinitiate me. I want to get reinitiated. Okay, we are God brothers, but it's okay. I've done so much sin. And I went to the Yamadutas. I saw Yamaraj with my own eyes. Then I saw my guru coming and pleading to the Yamadutas, please give back his life. And I am back now. Please, I don't want to waste this human form. And then for 8 years, he did devotional service. Tivrena Bhakti Yogana, very sincerely, he did devotional service with so much sincerity that he went back home, back to Godhead. He had a very peaceful death where devotees were chanting Harinam. And he was also in good consciousness at that time. So how much of a sin he have done, his guru saved him. The Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had to go to the Yamaduta's court, Yamaraj's court to take the soul back. We should not make our guru come like that. When Villamangalam Thakur was fallen and his guru came in which form? How was Villamangalam Thakur saved? Which form did the guru come?
Prostitute.
What was the prostitute's name?
Chintamani.
Yeah, so Chintamani. So when the Villamangalam Thakur in the heavy rain at night, he went catching hold of the dead body of his wife. He crossed the river and catching hold of a snake and climbed over the wall to go to the prostitute's house. And the prostitute is like, you came for me in this middle of night, so much sense gratification. Why don't you show the same attachment to Krishna? You could have got delivered. So the guru had to come in the form of a prostitute to save Villamangalam Thakur. And Prabhupada says, don't make me come like that. Don't make me come in any form. All my disciples should go back to Godhead, not to hellish planets. So that's why initiation is very important. You understood why a guru is needed? Because a guru promised at the time of initiation to take us back home, back to Godhead. Whatever happens in our life, it's gurus. So that doesn't mean we should not do sincere devotional service. We should do our best. We won't get second chance like Ajamla. We won't get second chance like that devotee, right? So we should do devotional service and we should not fall. So in next birth, at least, if one is unable to attain complete Krishna consciousness in this life, he's guaranteed at least to take birth in a human family, right? And he cannot be sent into hellish condition. we may not be sent into hellish condition. So this Kapila Dev gives a nice relief for us, because he explained all the hellish things, what's going to happen. And in the last sloka of the chapter, the last sloka towards the end of the purport, he says, we will not be sent to hellish condition if you take up Krishna consciousness. And it's not a loss. It's not a loss, as Prabhu was saying yesterday. Like, if we come to know there is no Krishna at the end of death, still we are not losing anything. We had fun, we had celebrations, we had prasadam, we had nice association with devotees, right? But then at the end, so it's very important that we do our devotional service sincerely. And how should I do devotional service? When should I chant? Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Utite bashite shuite khaite yata thada namalo deshikala niyamanahi sarva siddhi hoy. Yata namalo. So Chaitanya Charitamrita and Delila chapter 20 verse 18 says, Khaite shuite yata tada namala. Utite bashite shuite khaite. Whenever you're sitting, when you're eating, when you're taking bath, wherever you are, yada tada namalo. Wherever you are, take nama, harinama. Kala desha niyamane. It doesn't matter where you are. You're in Antarctica or India or Africa, or wherever it is. Desha kala niyamane sarva siddhi hai. It gives all benefit. Regardless of the time and the place, one who chants the holy name, even while eating or sleeping, attains all perfection. Even while eating. That means when you're chanting, when you're honoring Krishna Prasadam, you chant the Maha Prasada Govinda mantra, or at least remember Krishna. Krishna is so merciful, gave me Prasadam. At least know, regardless of time or place. Tatrarpida niyamida smaranena kala. There's no rules for chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Also, it is said in Andalila chapter verse 14, 18. So Krishna, by his holy name, has come to us. So we should take advantage of that. And it is said that in 4 slokas, Antyalila chapter 5 says, Prema Ghama, Prema Mrida Aswadhana, Krishna Prapti Seva Mrida, Samudre Manjana. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes the transcendental bliss. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engage in his devotional service, as if immersely himself in great ocean of life. So once one devotee was asking me, Mataji, I'm reading Prabhupada's book all the day, but I'm not able to chant 16 rounds. The purpose of writing books, Srila Prabhupada says, the purpose of the scriptures, everything is to make us understand Harir Nama Iva Kevalam, to make us know the truth that holy name is the only one who's going to save you. At the time of death, philosophy won't help you. At the time of distress, it's only Krishna's holy name is going to help us. So we should take shelter of the holy name. And even if we could not complete it this life, it's okay. Devotees like, I don't know slokas, I teach, I don't know philosophy, it's okay. It's okay. At least we wash all our hellish, sinful reaction in this life. At least we can start from next life, no? At least take his next birth. Why are we in a hurry? We have wasted so many janmas for Maya and sinful reactions. One life you give to Krishna, can we get perfection in one life? Yes, you chant Shuddhanam, you can get perfection in one life. But we are not able to chant Shuddhanam. Prabhupada was chanting Shuddhanam. All great souls are chanting Shuddhanam. They are also chanting the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What's the difference? Their consciousness is different. They are in Bhava stage. They are chanting in Shuddhanam. We are in Nama Aparat stage. We are stuck. But at least do it, no? At least next Janma, you are in Nama Abhas. After that, in 3 or 4 Janmas, you can come to Shuddhanam. Or let it take 10 million Janma. It's okay. It's not waste. It's not waste. So if someone is not willing to enter into hellish life, as in Tamishra or Andha Tamishra, he must take to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is the first class yoga system, right? So we have to take. If we don't want, does anyone wants to go to hellish planet in this class? You can raise your digital hand. Do you want to go to hellish planet and see what's happening there? We are suffering. We'll suffer more than what is described in the Shastra. So if we are not willing to go to hellish life, right? So we should take to the process of Krishna consciousness. We should not fall down. We should not fall down in the sense because whoever have not taken initiation also, for all of you, it's the preeminent Shiksha Gurus, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is all your Shiksha Gurus, all of us, because we are reading Prabhupada's purports. We are following his books, his instructions, Vani Seva. You're doing Vani Seva. So initiation is just a process in the mind. But then you are actually connected to the parampara. You're connected to Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and all of them, right? So that means we should not make our guru come back to take us. We should be sincere in Krishna consciousness. And if you don't want to, whatever sin we have done, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? One of Prabhupada's disciples was breaking all the 4 regulative principles every day. Every day he was breaking all the 4 regulative principles, and slowly he overcome all that, and he is a nice devotee now. So it doesn't matter where we were, how we were, and all that in previous janmas or this janmas, whatever it is. Might be you can say, on this janma, I am born in a Brahmin family, I was a vegetarian, and I didn't do any of these 4, I didn't break any 4 regulative principles. You are proud of being born in a aristocratic family. Good, that's you're continuing from your previous life. Now you are given a chance to revive our Krishna consciousness. But what about your previous life? What about our previous life? We would have done sinful activities in our previous life. We don't know. So all of us are sinful. The only process to get over all that sinful activities or to avoid hellish condition is take up Krishna consciousness, because there in Yamadutas are confused now what to do, because all ISKCON families have Bhagavatam set in the house. They are wearing tilak and kanti, and they chant the holy name. They hear Srimad Bhagavatam. They take prasadam. So in that way, everybody is getting purified daily and daily. So Yamadutas don't have work much work. So Guru Maharaj says, don't give work to the Yamadutas. Let's wait for Vishnudutas and let's take up Krishna consciousness and never fall down. So what is the process we should do to not fall down? What is the thing we should do to reach to the Nishtha stage, or to be steady in Krishna consciousness? So the best thing.
Chanting and
with the
Shraddha, sadhu sangha.
Chanting, sometimes chanting can be like altered or sometimes disturbed.
Mataji, we need to pray to Lord.
We need to be in associations with
association with the devotees.
To be in association of devotees, that's it. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra hoy, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. We should be sadam prasangan mama veerya samvito bhavan vihrit karna rasayana kada tajoshanadaso apavarga vartmani shraddha radir bhaktir anukramishati. So what should we do? We should be in the association of devotees. That's it. Just stay in the association of devotees, nothing else. Right? But then in good association. In association can be in 2 types. I mean, not everyone who you see with tilak and kanti are good devotees. We should be very careful. Recently, I just saw some couples, they are devotees, but then they are cheating people and taking money from them or some investment, something. We should be careful. So Kali Yuga, we don't know, we can't measure who's a nice devotee just by seeing the appearance. No, but we should understand what that devotee is. Just see what that how is that devotee's life and everything. See what that devotee is doing, and then be with the association of devotees, because association can help us in not to fall down from Krishna consciousness. Because somehow, even if we slip, even if we fall, there are devotees to pull us up. No, so we should be in association of devotees, and the most important association is associating with the pure devotee Srila Prabhupada by reading his books and chanting the holy name and hearing Prabhupada's lecture and Vani. Okay, hear Prabhupada's lecture. Those who travel for work, you can have Prabhupada's lecture in your car, in a pen drive, or you can just keep hearing Prabhupada's Vani, so that somehow that vibration will help you. It's like an injection. So your chanting is like tablets. But then once in a while, go to the ISKCON temples, go to the festivals, always be in association with devotees. Then Maya will not touch us. Then we'll never go to the hellish planet. Okay, so we can all meet in Goloka, Vrindavan. Somehow might be, I don't know which janma, might be some of you are going back this life. Only Krishna knows, right? So what should we do is, we should get human form next, in the sense in a devotee family, in a Vaishnava family, or at least a human form, so that we continue from where we stop and don't go down to the hellish planet. So next chapter is very, very important chapter. Kapila's instruction, Lord Kapila's instruction on the movement of the living entities. Amazing chapter. Don't miss any of the slokas in this chapter. This describes the growth of the soul in the mother's womb, and the soul is praying to Krishna. Beautiful prayers by Kapila Dev. And the gynecology department will fail because there is no scanning or anything. And every month, Lord Kapila explains how the embryo grows, when the eyes come, the hands come, when the consciousness develops. Everything is very beautifully explained in this chapter, the 31st chapter. So, movement of the living entity. We all were born like this. We all were seen the Lord. We have prayed like this. So, beautiful chapter, the next chapter. So might be Prabhu will continue from tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Anything to add? Any questions? Yeah, yes, Neeraj Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, you just mentioned that by taking initiation, the Guru takes the responsibility of the devotee. And in case due to some reasons and due to some personal reasons, some people are not able to take the initiation. And like what about such devotees, Mataji? For such devotees, Guru is not going to take the responsibility of...
Guru will just have the desire. Tatra Laulyam. You just... Initiation is just a process, Mataji. Already you are initiated in your mind by Srila Prabhupada, in your heart by Srila Prabhupada. So already you are initiated in the mind, right, in the heart. That is just an external process. If you have taken initiation and if you're not following the regulatory principles, then what is the use, no? So it's just, some people say as the name will change. No, it's not that just say name will change. Whatever sin we have done in our previous janmas, everything gets crushed. You get a rebirth, you get a new name, everything happens. But if because of some reason you're not able to take initiation, at least in the mind, accept that person as your Guru. At least accept Srila Prabhupada as your Guru in the mind. That is also initiation. In the mind also, how when Krishna appeared in the heart of Vasudeva and got transferred to the heart of Devaki, Prabhupada says that's initiation. Initiation means you accept Krishna from Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. And in the mind also, if you do, that's also initiation, Mataji. You just have the desire. Might be next life you can take. No?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Never lost. It's never lost. If you have that sincere desire, Guru is always with you through his Vani. So it's not physically just initiation. Because of some reason, because of some karma, we are not able to take initiation. Doesn't matter. But as long as you're chanting 16 rounds, as long as you are following the 4 related principles, reading Prabhupada's book, preaching, Prabhupada will be always with you. He'll never leave anyone. Kapendra Pogat. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Pranam.
Mataji,
Can you be louder?
Hello, अभी आपको आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, tell me.
What is the difference between a Diksha Guru and a Shiksha Guru? And
you didn't do ISKCON disciple course?
I did.
In that instance, one of the
still
questions.
I'm not able to get this answer.
Diksha Guru is only one, and who's going to give you an initiation, the name, the spiritual name, the mantra. He is the one who is actually taking off all your karmas and everything. Shiksha Gurus can be many. They are the one who gives you instructions and who teaches you, about Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all that. They are indirectly connecting you to the parampara, but Diksha Guru directly connects you to the parampara. So in ISKCON, there are some Diksha Gurus, selected GBC, Diksha Gurus who are sannyasis, who are given the responsibility of taking initiation. So we take initiation from them. They are Diksha. Okay, and Shiksha is...
For my knowledge, Prabhupada in his last letter declare it that he will be there only as a Diksha Guru. No one is assigned as a Diksha Guru.
No, Prabhu, please.